Okay, hi everyone, and Happy New Year. It's been quite a few days that I have been away, uh, due to mainly flu, specifically COVID, that I have contracted. But I've been trying to recover as fast as possible, and here I am. So it's good to be back, and I want to start with mainly my goal and my dedication towards this. So I have booked a test date for April 26th, and we know that it is at 8 a.m. Now, the structure is going to be the same, so we are going to practice as specific to the test date. So, what I plan during my testing is so today is January 1st, and it's a Monday. So, the structure of my practice will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And on Sundays we rest. So we have 6 days ahead of us. And every day we are going to, so tonight we are going to try to sleep around 10 p.m. Wake up. These are the main hours. Wake up around 4 to 5. And then we're going to prepare kinda from 5 to 7, and then from 8 to around 3 we do the practice or the testing, and then after some rest we'll do some reviews, 17 or 18 to 21. And on Sundays I'll be probably working in order to, yeah, so these are the main hours, and we're going to keep discipline and consistency towards all of that. I can show you my Google Calendar too. So I will be, but you can see it here. So around 4, we plan to wake up. We yeah, so for the Sundays. So for next Sunday, I will be cool. So we have the Sundays off, as you can see, right? So this week we will be working hard towards. So also these ones I didn't do today. So right now it has been scheduling for the MCAT. Now we need to keep in mind that there are some mental tricks that we can take advantage of. So if I can come here, so we have mental models. We have distraction, distraction free, so we have distraction free setting. Slash days. And then we have discipline. If you don't have discipline, you succumb to any circumstances. any pressure. So you're gone with the wind. And the lifelong learning teaching there's also the competition, the winning mindsets. Cool. So now let's get started. So instead of, there's also another thing. Let me go into writing for this here. Instead of passively reading chapters of Kaplan or Princeton, I will be doing flashcards, which helps with both active recall and spaced repetition. Then we will be testing ourselves after each content overview. I'm heavily contemplating about getting U-World or not. However, there are so many other resources instead. And here you can see that I have created specific custom study sessions. So for this, I put cardiovascular system. And we also have this document to accompany us, right? So here is the cardiovascular system. So we covered a lot of the cooperativity concepts, but I don't see any dissociation curves here. So it should be at the end of the document, but it didn't say anything. Let's see. Oh, here we have it. As you can see. Okay, cool. So we have all these different chapters which we are going to cover, and as we can see, this is part of an appendix, but it is still part of the chapter 7 of cardiovascular system. So we call this 7 cardiovascular system. ventricle, it also comes on top. So we want the blood pathway here, starting in the right atrium. So as we can see, it's the first time that we are studying this. So from the right atrium, so we should first know that the right ventricle transfers blood to the lungs. When you need to transfer blood to the lungs, you want to transfer deoxygenated blood so that the lungs can purify it and make it oxygenated, right? So it will all be black lines, black arrows, starting from right atrium. So from the right atrium, the oxygenated blood goes to the right ventricle via what pathway? The pathway is tricuspid valve. Now you need to know the other name for tricuspid valve. So we will be asking it. Also here you can see that we had been talking about oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. So see, everything is a tree and its branches, right? So the main concept for hemoglobin is the cardiovascular system, right? So whatever is, so the origin of whatever you see here is going to that direction. So the origin for the cardiovascular system. Okay, wait a second. This is bigger. So we need to make it smaller. Right. So we have the cardiovascular system. And we start with our first question, which is is there another name for tricuspid valve? So then the tricuspid, right ventricle to right atrium to right ventricle, and then from right ventricle there is the pulmonary valve, which goes to the pulmonary, which attaches to the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery transfers deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So arteries go out of heart. They are closer to the heart. They protrude out of the heart. They go to some part of the body, and then the veins bring the blood back to the heart. So the pulmonary artery means that this vessel is coming out of the heart, and the name pulmonary refers to it going towards the lungs. So what would be a pulmonary vein? It would be one that is coming from the tissues, which is the lungs, to the heart, because it's a vein. So it is also transferring oxygenated blood. And then the pulmonary veins come to the left atrium. Is there any valve? Is there any valve between pulmonary vein and left atrium? And then from the left atrium, blood goes to the left ventricle via the mitral valve. It should be a bicuspid valve. And then from the left ventricle via the aortic valve, it goes to aorta. And then aorta goes to transcends to arteries, and then to arterioles, and then capillaries. And after the capillaries, the blood is deoxygenated, and it comes back to venules, veins, and then vena cava, which we have superior and inferior vena cava, and then it comes back to the right atrium. Amazing. So again, we go from the right atrium to... So we start from right atrium. We have the right atrium going to the right ventricle via the tricuspid valve. And then from the right ventricle, we go to the pulmonary artery via the pulmonary valve. And then from the pulmonary artery, we go to the lungs, which then gives us the oxygenated blood. And then we go via pulmonary vein to the left atrium. And then from the left atrium, we go through the bicuspid valve, mitral valve. We go to the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle, we have the aortic valve, which goes to the aorta. And then from aorta, it's arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules, veins, and vena cava, and then the right atrium. Semilunar. Why are the pulmonary valves semilunar? We know that they are semilunar to prevent the blood going back to the previous chamber. Awesome. Oxygenated blood from the pulmonary veins enters the what of the heart? So oxygenated blood from the pulmonary veins enters the left atrium of the heart. We got that right. So we put good. Deoxygenated blood from the vena cava enters the right atrium of the heart. What valve is between the right atrium and the right ventricle? So between right atrium and right ventricle, there is the tricuspid valve. Deoxygenated blood passes through. What valve is between left atrium and ventricle? It's the mitral valve, or the bicuspid. Pulmonary veins are oxygenated or deoxygenated. Pulmonary veins are they are oxygenated. Pulmonary veins come to heart. All of the veins deoxygenated come to heart. Pulmonary arteries are deoxygenated because they are going to the lungs. Give the pathway of electrical conduction in the heart. So there are 4 sites, right? There's the SA node, the pacemaker, the AV node, bundle of His, and Purkinje fibers. Stab a big pickle. Stab a big pickle acrostic. So we have the SA node. Sorry, I have to take a phone call.